dancing to their god of death, selling body parts, chopping up babies, the battle of the scalpel. I mean, it's just on. Hell on earth, the gates are opening, and out will flood the armies. It's the same story over and over again. The same dependency, the same sluggism.
Alex Jones. Love him, hate him, more than likely y'all hate him, mainly for his interesting takes, let's just say. I gotta say, I do love his autism, schizo moments, though of course he has said some stupid things. But you know what? At least with the First Amendment, you can say some stupid shit and you could find out who fucking said the stupid shit. Unlike in Britain, where everything is fucking stupid, so you get arrested anyways. Nonetheless, I don't care about Alex Jones's past. I'm here to talk about the game that he released like a year or two ago. Alex Jones' New World Order. God damn, what else can I say then? That's interesting. Oh yeah, Alex Jones really did release a game, specifically called Alex Jones NWO Wars, New World Order Wars. This released back in November 16th, 2023. So yeah, it was around 2 years ago, nearly 3 now. But yeah, it's an interesting game, I will say. It's pretty simple in concept, but the fact that Alex Jones fucking released this shit, god damn, the balls in this guy. Though, if you do have like any qualms about buying this game, I will say, since you know Alex Jones is going through that lawsuit and shit, more than likely this is just going against him. So yeah, there's that. I'll also say this as well, since this is an Alex Jones game, it might be a little too, I don't know, out of the ordinary, one can say, a little bit too harsh, let's just say. It's the easiest or the kindest way to put it. It's gonna be harsh. I mean, there's conspiracy stuff. There's gonna be Alex Jones shenanigans. So expect that if you want to play this. I'll just leave that out there. So starting off this game, we get this badass shot of Alex Jones's character. Yes, it's over exaggerated. I mean, yeah, do you know what genre this is, dude? All exaggerated and stuff. Nonetheless, here's the logo. Pretty nice. And the controls are pretty simple, not that bad. WSD or the arrow keys to move or aim, spaces to jump, and you have 3 options to shoot. Either shift, the E key, or the pad if you're on PC, or the mouse if you're using said mouse. Now there is technically a melee button, but you have to be very close to an enemy, right next to him in fact. Once you're next to them, press the spacebar or the fire button, and Alex Jones will swipe with his knife. You can apparently use the controller as well. When I tried using the Google Stadia controller, for some reason it just didn't recognize it. I don't know why. It sucks. You basically have 3 controls if you use controller. The left stick to move and aim, A to jump, and the right trigger to shoot. Very simple. And if my controller fucking worked, I would say it was pretty nice. The sounds are pretty nice as well. I do like the sound effects of the guns, and even the one-liners from Alex Jones himself.
The elites don't want you to know this, but the say hello to my little friend. You can take them home. I have 558 ducks. Go! I'm here to save the beagles.
And from other supporting characters too.
Alex, these gay frogs are nuts, dude.
Yeah!
I'm here to save the poor innocent babies.
My favorite part, other than the story, is the briefings before each mission. Voiced, of course, by Alex Jones. It just gives a short synopsis of what the hell's happening. I kind of find it just so hilarious and so fitting for Alex Jones.
Jeffrey Epstein may be dead, but his island is still ripe and full of pedophiles and satanic child sacrifice. Babies are being kidnapped and are being turned into a stew for the globalist elites to eat so they can live forever. The crooked witch of the West Wing is leading the charge, and I am going to get between her and those poor babies. They will not be turned into stew, not on my watch.
I will say as well, the 8-bit art in general, I kind of like it. The regular enemies, not much to write home about, other than the fact that most of them are great references to whatever the hell Alex Jones has said. I mean, the only one I really know about is, of course, the gay frogs. But wait, there's more. Gay rats, gay bats, humanoid enemies that come in all forms with each level. The homeless especially hitting hard. I mean, they're not all bad, but damn, most of them have nothing to lose, so they just act the way they act. I'll just say that. We got killer flowers, fuck-ass news vans, gargoyles, I think, and some enemies even have spawners. They don't really spawn that much enemies, and I did think about just letting the enemies pop out, but not much popped out when it did wait, so I just straight up destroyed the spawners. Now, there are attacks, but they're pretty basic for the most part. Most of them just head to your position, and once they get close, they prime a swing, which is very easily telegraphed. Though, doesn't help that there are other shit happening in the background, so I'm more like I did get hit. But yeah, there's that. Some bum rush you. Well, the doctors bum rush you. There's also bats and rats that just hitting you is their attack, basically, or ramming into you. Then you have enemies that vomit, let's just say projectiles. There are some that legitimately throw, like the skeletons. It's like throwing a bone in a big arc and stuff. The gay frogs, they spit out some rainbow shit, another arc as well. But the homeless people, or at least the homeless projectile throwers, vomiters, whatever. I don't think their vomit hurts you, but once it hits the ground, it can slow you down, so that is interesting. There's also the homeless dude with the cart. They bum rush you and throw shit on the ground too, so there's that. I do like the news vans in the Canadian level as well. I thought that was interesting. In general, most of the major common enemies in Canada are vehicular. Of course, like the news vans, there's also choppers. Hell, the final boss is a fucking chopper, but like I said, boss discussion will come later. I don't think there's anything interesting in the Swiss level. With the exception of the bosses. Of course, it's the bosses, so they ought to have something interesting about them. I'll talk about them once we get to said bosses. The locations as well are goddamn, they're pretty epic. And they make sense for Alex Jones standards too. I guess slight spoilers up ahead. I'll put a timestamp if you want to skip this. It's a little minor, it's just location and stuff, but if you want to skip it, here you go. So we got 5 levels we have to go through. Yes, just 5. An unknown laboratory, San Francisco, an island, Epstein's Island, Canada, where the trucker protests took place, and finally, Davos, Switzerland. I know the CH is a bit weird, however the country code is just Latin for Helvetica Confederation. Anyways, the locations, the designs of them, I absolutely love. I mean, the lab is kind of generic, but I like what they did in general. The dogs and stuff, and the tubes. A little too close to home, a little unethical, very unethical. San Fran, a lot of homeless people, and Cali, all over the US in general. Epstein's Island, of course. Canada's cucked, so whatever. I don't think the truckers got the money, but I think there's a lawsuit too, so there's that too. Then Davos. I mean, if you know the bosses, then maybe you'll know why Davos was picked, but I'll talk about that in a different spoiler section. Overall, the locations are represented well. I mean, yeah, they're over-exaggerated, they're over the top and shit, and that just adds to the beauty, the absurdity. It just works, in my opinion. Next, let's talk about the good guys, let's just say. Of course, Alex Jones, the main character. You can only play as one character, sadly, but he does have some chud buds. Said buds will only appear once in one level, with the exception of the lab level, the first level. Why it's like that, I don't know, but that's how it is. For San Fran, we got Joe Rogan as a centaur for some reason. It's just ridiculous. Why is he a centaur? Anyways, Epstein's Island, we have Trump. Literally, President Trump. Or, was he elected when this was released? No. This was like 2023 when this was released, so former President Donald Trump. Well, he's out, and he's a superhero. Honestly, I'm neutral on this matter. He does some base shit. Sometimes he does some stupid shit. Sometimes he just exists. That's that. And then Canada, Tucker Carlson? Okay. It's literally just him. He has a presentation, the Fox News shit in the background. I think this is like a year before he left Fox News. He has some superpowers as well. Or at least he shoots some orbs. Some supernatural thing. Nothing special in terms of appearance. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think there is a buddy in the Swiss level, so I guess in the first and last level, you're alone. In general, I do like the inclusion of them with how absurd this shit is. I mean, I guess they're all friends and shit. I do like the designs, especially the centaur. Joe Rogan is a fucking centaur. Donald Trump being a superhero. Tucker Carlson, I don't know what I would have given him if I were to make pixel art of him. I don't know, something like Doctor Strange, maybe? However, it's doable. Tucker Carlson is alright. Overall, the involvement of those characters are alright in my book. I don't really care about that. I do like the designs. Tucker Carlson's a bit basic, but Overall, they're serviceable. However, I just wish that after you encountered them the first time, they turn into spawns, you know, that you can use in any stage for around 5-10 seconds. It's just a waste that they're only in their respective stages for a fourth or even just a fifth of the gameplay. Feels like a wasted opportunity, honestly. Another wasted opportunity, in my opinion, are the lack of variety of weapons. I mean, you only have a handgun to start off with, and if for some reason you don't pick up any weapons, there being only two, a machine gun and a flamethrower, they're pretty cool, but if you can have an AK, RPK, AR-15, a SCAR, that would have been nice, a Desert Eagle, Glock, Beretta, I don't know, man. If we could choose our weapons before we go into a stage, that would be nice, but no, we just have those three weapons. Well, one if you don't bother with the power-ups. Even then, the weapons that we have, they're serviceable. They can kill the enemies, that's fine. Now the bosses in general, from the mid bosses to the final bosses of a level. The final bosses for sure, I really like their design, but even then, I like what characters they represent. And the mid bosses are straight up just characters. They have different names at the bottom of the screen, yet you know who the hell they are. I'll just say that if you don't want to get spoiled. Another positive thing, when this launched originally, it was a browser game. Basically, Alex Jones set up their own website for this particular game to play on, but as of like the beginning of 2024, that's no longer the case, and it is a native app that you can download once you purchase this game. Also, another thing, we're just leading into this, it was $20.24 when this first launched, but now it's $17.76 excluding any sales going on. So if you want, wait for a sale, or not, it's your money, but it's all up to you, honestly. The supplements being health items are plenty as well. So from here on out, there's going to be spoilers, well, until the timestamp. So yeah, if you don't want to listen to how each story or mission plays, I'm gonna leave a timestamp. Anyways, let's go. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Little Dr. Fuker has hatched a plan to turn everyone into a gay frog by injecting you with an mRNA 𝐂𝐇𝐀𝐏𝐿GBTQ technology vaccine that depletes your testosterone and turns you into a rainbow amphibian.
Alright, so that is how basically the briefings go. Alex Jones tells you where we're going, who we're going against. He doesn't dead name the people, but you can get an idea of who we're going against. Here it's going to be Dr. Fauci. And for the mid-boss, it's going to be Bill Gates. Now, the bosses usually have unique designs, while the mid-stage boss is basically the character that is being portrayed. So like if, let's say, if Obama was in the game, it'll just straight up be Obama as the mid-boss. The level environments are heavily inspired by the bosses too. I mean, here it's basically a lab. Dr. Fauci, of course, is a scientist, and with the beagles and stuff, he has experimented on dogs. Of course, he worked on the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the SARS epidemic from 2002 and 2003. All in all, fuck Fauci. He ain't gonna be seeing no dogs in the place he's going after he dies. No crazy designs, which, I mean, I guess is alright. Of course, they do have attacks. Bill Gates mainly just throws money. That's literally all he does. Dr. Fauci, however, he isn't too crazy, but he is in a big mech, so I guess the design is pretty nice still, even though, I don't know, I guess since he's a mad scientist, he has to have some big mech. I mean, cool, I guess. What's not as cool are his attacks. Basically get some slow projectile slime attack, and he can launch, quote unquote, his claws. It's basically him throwing a punch with a claw. That's literally it. He has no specific weak point either, just gotta hit the body. After killing Bill Gates and destroying Dr. Fauci's robot, we don't kill him, but he is exposed to attacks which he truly does succumb to death after the dogs are free from their testing strangleholds. So there you go, very nice. Bye bye, mad scientist, and on to San Francisco, a goddamn shithole.
The big tech crybaby tyrants have banned us all, locked us in our virtual cages. They're not human, and they're wiping us off the face of the earth with a smile on their satanic faces. But I can stop it. I am prepared to single-handedly defeat big tech lizard nerd and free the patriotic Americans from the mass censorship hell.
Right on, so San Fran, home of Silicon Valley, as well as one of the biggest homeless problems in the US. Of course, we got a fight to set homeless, and if you remember, there was a big deplatforming campaign. I want to say around, what, 2016, 2017 onwards, until maybe after the COVID-19 pandemic, probably like 2022 or something, where any big right-wing YouTubers got deplatformed and shit from big platforms like YouTube, Twitter, now X, Facebook, Insta, and yeah, that's reflected highly with the final boss of this level, that being Mark Zuckerberg. He is, of course, known as a reptilian. He is a big reptilian, might as well be a dinosaur, with a big-ass band hammer. Now this guy has 3 attacks, thrusting his hand at the bottom of the screen, using the band hammer that says "Stop Police" to slam down on Alex's position, or to use the hammer to knock some spike balls from the ceiling, quote unquote. The weak point is Zuck's head, and after you destroy that, that's the end of the boss. The Zuck gets hammered. Godspeed. And now on to the island, Epstein's Island.
Jeffrey Epstein may be dead, but his island is still ripe and full of pedophiles and satanic child sacrifice. Babies are being kidnapped and are being turned into a stew for the globalist elites to eat so they can live forever. The crooked witch of the West Wing is leading the charge, and I am going to get between her and those poor babies. They will not be turned into stew, not on my watch.
Epstein's Island. So here we have to rescue the babies here. Apparently they're being used as child sacrifices and to be eaten by the residents or visitors of this island. Whether they are rich people, people with power, both, someone else, Epstein himself. God damn. I know that the list has been out for some time. That would be nice if we actually get a declassified version of it officially. Okay, about this level 2, the first half, it looks like Jeffy's Island IRL. However, after we beat the midway boss, it starts to turn into a volcano area. Nice liberties there. Backtracking to the midway boss, it is Bill Clinton on a saxophone. Oh yeah. Now this one almost nearly killed me. There's like the one boss that basically overwhelmed me until I got my shit together. I was nearly dead. So he doesn't really attack, he just spawns a lot of enemies. Well, I guess there is one attack, similar to the projectile attack from Dr. Fauci, except once that projectile hits the ground, it spawns a plant enemy. What you basically gotta do is fend yourself from the enemies, shoot up his little stage that he's on, and then you can finally shoot up Bill Clinton. After that, traverse through the rest of the level, and you hit his wife, Hillary Clinton, as the Wicked Witch. Ah, fuck the Clintons, man, just fuck them. I found it easier to actually defeat the Crooked Witch of the West Wing, as opposed to Bill Clinton. I mean, you don't get overwhelmed with enemies, and her attack is mainly, it consists of her shooting lasers. It's not that hard to dodge. Yeah, just shoot at her whenever she's not shooting her lasers, and yeah, that's basically it. It doesn't take that much thought. And after we busted that pedophile ring, we're on to Canada.
Castro Jr. is on the loose, trying to force experimental shots while looking like a fruitcake in the process. The Canadian truckers are protesting the oppressive Canadian government. All of their funds have been frozen by the New World Order banks until the citizens relent. Castro Jr. must be overthrown.
Now this one I really find notable. This is of course is a big reference to the Freedom Convoy or the Canadian trucker protest back in 2022. Essentially, the truckers were leading protests opposing the COVID-19 vaccine mandates for cross-border drivers. And it got to the point that Justin Trudeau had to use emergency national powers against this protest. And apparently in January 2024, it was ruled that this use of emergency power was not justified. There's also the fact that bank accounts of the truckers were frozen. Now that's goddamn scary. If you oppose the government in a big way, they can just shut down your livelihood. What a goddamn shame. Nonetheless, this level, I kind of like. The first half is basically you driving around Canada, I guess, in Alex Jones's epic armored car. I know he has an armored car in real life. However, we also get to fight. I think it's Chris Cuomo and Brian Stelter as mid-boss fight. They're pretty easy. Don't really attack other than spawning the gay frogs from the skies, occasionally launching a beach ball that you have to avoid, but it's not that hard. Just gotta continue shooting down the frogs, shoot the balloons of jesters, bada bing bada boom, you're on to the next part of the stage. And once you've reached the end, you face Castro Jr. Oh yeah. There was a conspiracy theory that Justin Trudeau is related to Fidel Castro. From what I know, there's actually no evidence to support this, but he's still a little dick, so a brother from another mother, one can say. I also like the detail of frozen money in the background as you're approaching the final battle arena of this area. Castro Jr. has 3 attacks: a missile attack, some kind of cannonball attack, which you fire simultaneously, and a minigun attack. The minigun doesn't really engage, from what I know, unless you're in front of the helicopter. The cannonballs try to aim for your position, and the missiles you have to watch out for, because those missiles are homing to you specifically, but you can't shoot those down. And once you defeat them by just shooting the helicopter, it explodes in a big ass blast, freeing the frozen money raining all over the place. God bless Canada, but you're French, so it's over for you anyways. And now on to the final area, Davos, Switzerland.
This is it, folks. The New World Order headquarters, where every slimy, dirty, traitorous, no-good lying scumbag Hitlers do their planning. Davos, Switzerland. They're scheduled to drop a gay frog nuke that will turn the entire world into soft, mushy, pink amphibians, and their rule will be eternal. They want us to eat the bugs. They want us to live in a pod. They want us to be gay. And I say no! Never will I bow to Satan. This is a war on our souls, a war on God.
You know what? That's like the only transmission that made me feel actually hyped about playing this mission. There are the references like the gay frogs, you will eat the bugs from, what's his name, Mr. Schwab's. He did head the World Economic Forum for a fair amount of time before he stepped down around a year or 2 ago. But yeah, in general, Davos, Switzerland is where the WEF meeting takes place, whatever that meeting's called. This place, this WEF castle, one can say, looks like hell. Every enemy that you face up until this point is here. They are here in force, though it's still not all that challenging. You do have some new enemies too. For the midway boss, I honestly don't know who that is supposed to represent. I would like to say know that person's face, but I just don't. Anyways, it's just a dragon. You have to avoid laser fire from it or bouncing fireball. The fireballs can also be shot in a arc. Watch out for that, but it's not too hard to avoid. Once you defeat him, continue on through until you hit the first stage of the final boss, a giant puppet octopus. He has like 2 attacks. He can either stab you with one of his tentacles that will be pointing at you, a highly telegraphed attack, and while that's happening, there are like these streaks of tentacles that'll stream down the screen. You gotta avoid that, of course, but I have no idea what that's supposed to be. But once he explodes, you get 3 lives, as well as a minigun, and that's when the real boss arrives. And I just remembered the dude's name, Klaus Schwab, as basically Satan himself, literally Satan. So the devil has 3 separate attacks. He can shoot orbs at you, shoot out tentacles on a certain level of the platforms,
even using wind to push you off.
Now, of course, this is the hardest boss out of any of the bosses in this game. That isn't Bill Clinton. And of course, I did lose a fair amount of lives, but it still took me 1 take to end this guy. And after that, of course, that's it for the game. You go to a cliffside and ride off in that same helicopter that is in the title screen. And fittingly enough, after the results screen, it just loops back to the title screen. Hell yeah. And that's Alex Jones' NWO Wars. Alright, and that is Alex Jones' NWO Wars. Yeah, pretty nice Contra spin-off. I just wish that there was a little bit more length to play through, a lot more levels, more weapon variety, and with the buddies. Once you complete a level, I wish that you can actually spawn them in for a few seconds in the later levels or any other level after you complete the level that they're in. I don't know, so I can have more replayability, but that's how that cookie crumbled. The music's actually pretty nice. Not really memorable, but it fits the setting that it's in. The gunplay, it's alright. The machine gun, serviceable. And flamethrower is actually pretty nice. It sucks that it's only in the 2 last levels. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna make another NWO Wars game or any other Alex Jones game. I mean, you know, if you know his trial and shit, you know he's going through a lot. Maybe he'll keep InfoWars, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll go to Russia or some shit after this bullshit's over. Who knows? Nonetheless, it's 1776 still, and if there's a sale, and if you are interested in this game, probably go for it. But like I said, it took me around 50-55 minutes just to complete it in 1 go. It's up to you if you want to check it out. Anyways, I think yeah, that's literally it. Now, for what I'm going to be doing in February, or actually no, I do have another video in the works, but let's just say it's a review of a motorcycle. So February, I want to check out Snoot Game. I played it long ago. You can check it out on my Kasinal channel. Since it's the year of the horse, I also want to check out Super Lesbian Horse RPG. Pretty nice fan game of G4 My Little Pony from early 2010s, I want to say. I think it's a shift between Fluttershy and Rarity. Or not Rarity, Rainbow Dash. And then Dojinshis since February. And as of recording too, on this day, my parents finally sold the Kia Soul. I'll definitely be releasing a review of that, and yeah, let's see how many videos I can actually manage to pump out for the last week of January and for February. Y'all have a good one, peace out, comment what I need to work on or whatever. I'll see you next time.